A licensed doctor, a physician, a man who took an oath that starts with the words, "do no harm." He sat in a hearing and explained why it was acceptable to leave a man with cerebral palsy, a man who physically can't clean himself, sitting in his own waste for days at a time. This doctor's reasoning: people are allowed to be dirty. And he went on to say, I would allow him to be dirty for a couple of days. That's our healthcare right now. That is America. A doctor deciding that another human being's basic dignity wasn't worth the price of a caregiver's hour to clean him. And that doctor was the subject of a segment done by John Oliver a couple of years back. The segment was on how privatized state Medicaid programs cut costs by cutting care. Oliver played the man's own words back to him, and that doctor's response to being quoted accurately was to sue John Oliver for defamation, claiming that John Oliver feigned outrage for ratings and profits. Thankfully this week, a federal judge threw that whole damn lawsuit out.
People have bowel movements every day where they don't completely clean themselves, and we don't fuss over too much. People are allowed to be dirty. I would allow him to be a little dirty for a couple of days.
Look, I'll be honest. When I first heard that, I thought that has to be taken out of context. There is no way a doctor, a licensed physician, would testify in a hearing that he thinks it's okay if people have on them for days. So we got the full hearing. I'm not going to play it for you. I'm just going to tell you, he said it, he meant it, and it made me want to punch a hole in the wall.
And this doctor's legal argument was that John Oliver had unfairly conflated different patients. Because one patient, you see, was wearing a diaper and allowed to sit in his own filth. Your Honor, technically one of them had a diaper on while he was sitting in his own filth for days. The judge was not moved. The judge wrote that the loss of human dignity is exactly the same whether or not the man is wearing a diaper. I mean, I cannot believe that that is where we are as a country. But for this doctor, this is a normal tactic. It's called a SLAPP lawsuit, SLAPP. You sue the person who's exposing you, not because you'll win, but because lawyers are expensive and fear is cheap. The goal here was never to beat John Oliver. The goal was to make the next person think twice before they air your quotes. And this is something that the whole for-profit healthcare model runs on. They run on you not looking too closely. They run on you not exposing them. By the way, John Oliver, he's now basically undefeated in these SLAPP lawsuits, and he faces a lot of them. He once beat a coal baron so thoroughly that he dared the man to sue him in the first place, on air. And lest you think that this is some niche story about just one doctor, one guy, in one state. This is the same machine, just at a different scale. Something that the Trump regime does regularly. They do it with their DOJ. The philosophy is simple. Something like care is a cost. A cost is something that you need to cut. Donald Trump and Doge, and especially Donald Trump and his crew gutting Medicaid for millions of people while bragging about the damn ballroom. People are allowed to be dirty and figure out your own health care. Different people saying them, but they come from the exact same place, the same instinct that you're on your own and that they will sue you and they will sue the people speaking out so that no one else speaks out again. And look, this is a good day. Okay, this man tried to use the courts to bury the truth, and the courts said no. We see the same thing with Donald Trump. And that is the only way this ever works. When somebody airs the quote and they refuse to take it down in the face of litigation challenges, they keep the quotes up and they win. And look, I'm no John Oliver, but I am going to keep airing the quotes, even the ugly ones, even if they come after us. They're coming after people like us, like David Pakman ending up on the White House's list of media outliers or media people that they are pointing to that are the fake news. So for people like us and for people like David Pakman, it is important that you interact with our stories, if you share them, if you subscribe, or if you leave a comment. It matters. And to that doctor and people like him, people are allowed to be dirty. Well, I'm allowed to say this, that you are dirty, sir, because you are nothing more than a piece of shit.